gets a steal. Carsen Edwards. Oh, my good hammer time. Bring it down. The big bad burly Boilers.
Edwards, another.
Edwards now with 42 points.
Carsen Edwards was a 4-star recruit out of Texas who committed to Purdue on August 11, 2015. While the coaching staff at Purdue probably had seen Edwards as a vital piece of the future, I don't think any of them could have predicted the stellar performance of a college career that Carsen Edwards would put on display over the next 3 years. In Edwards' first season, he had relatively average numbers as an on and off starter, with his best performance being against Auburn, where he dropped 21 points, attempted 5 threes, and only missed 1, and on defense had 5 steals. Purdue would be eliminated in the Sweet 16 against Kansas, where Carsen would have an abysmal output, only making 1 out of his 10 shots and 4 of his 6 points coming from free throws. And his tournament's performance as a whole wasn't very good. That year he averaged 9 points on 33% from the field, and his performance all across the board on both sides of the ball took a whole nosedive statistically and just by watching him play. He wasn't the same player in the tournament. In his second season with Purdue is when everyone would meet Carsen Edwards, the absolute walking bucket. Averaging 18 points on great efficiency, Edwards would make 2018 Big Ten All-Tournament, 2018 All-Big Ten, and 2018 NCAA All-Region, and had a 40-point display against Illinois. Purdue that year improved as a team, finishing second in the Big Ten, and came close to a Big Ten tournament championship. They would be eliminated in the Sweet 16 again, but by Texas Tech this time. Edwards did everything he could to win the game, putting up 30 points and a 55% display from the field. With a much improved march and showing he could show up in the big games, Carsen was set up to have an amazing junior year with Purdue, and that he did. That year, Purdue was the Big Ten champ, and Edwards was a consensus All-American, All-Big Ten, and, again, NCAA All-Region, while averaging 24 points and shooting almost 40% from the field. This was Carsen's best year and the most fun to watch out of any Carsen Edwards-led team. This guy was automatic from 3 and absolutely clutch. His regular season high was 40, but he dropped 42 twice in the NCAA tournament. Carsen only had 1 game where he didn't score in double figures, 7 games where he dropped 30 points or more, and 27 games where he dropped 20 or more. He was the most reliable guy in college basketball to put on a shooting clinic any given night. And in the tournament, he was absolutely magical. To put it into perspective, his worst game, the worst game he had out of that whole tournament, was in the first round against Old Dominion, where he had 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 steals, and shot 30% from the field. Carsen dropped 42 the next game against Villanova, and he shot 56% from the field. So he was the most efficient player and the most effective player undoubtedly that night. Purdue's Sweet 16 matchup was a overtime thriller against Tennessee. Most Purdue fans know this as the Ryan Klein game, but Edwards had a cool 29 to give Ryan some help. Purdue was headed somewhere they hadn't been in a long while, the Elite Eight, just a few games from a national championship. West Lafayette was ready for this magical run to be capped off with Carsen Edwards cutting down the net. But Virginia was in their way. It was time for peak Carsen Edwards to show everyone once more why he was West Lafayette's favorite son.
Jerome, short, back tap, Diakite, a race for it, into the hands of Clark, got a chance to win it here, up the front, here's Diakite for the win, for the tie, Diakite squares, and it's 70. Now Edwards on the take. Edwards gets in the lane, and Edwards scores. Purdue is on top. The offensive board. Hunter goes to work on Eifert, powers his way in. What a bucket by DeAndre Hunter. To 10, Edwards, step back, three is up, no good. And it's pulled down by Guy. They got a timeout, and they get it.
For getting the rebound, doing it by committee.
Puts him up 2. 3-point Virginia lead is Kyle Guy.
Carsen Edwards on the run.
Carsen Edwards looking at the clock. And a bad pass, and it's turned over with 1.8 remaining. Advancing to the Final Four for the first time since 1984. The first number 1 seed to punch their ticket to Minneapolis.
The game went into overtime. Carsen Edwards dropped 40 for the 3rd time that season. He shot efficiently. The team around him played well. They left everything they had on the court. But a few missed free throws would be the deciding factor, and Purdue would come up short against the eventual national champions. Carsen would forego his senior season at Purdue and declare for the NBA draft. Purdue hasn't found that same success and hasn't captured that same magic since Edwards left. But in his time at Purdue, Carsen Edwards demonstrated what Purdue fans are all about. Grit, determination, an underdog mentality, a chip on your shoulder, heartbreaking defeat after heartbreaking defeat, still coming back the next day and going to work. Every Purdue fan could find themselves in Carsen Edwards. He was undersized, hardworking, flashy, a leader, and most of all would never back down to any team or player. And that's what made him so special. He was a true showman and would never leave you with the thought that he didn't give everything he got, for better or for worse. I hope he continues to get opportunities in the NBA and eventually catches on with a team. I'm Limitless Pulls, thank you for watching, and have a good rest of your day.